Hey guys, what's going on? It's Zain. Real quick, wanted to make a video titled "The Cops Will Hate You If You Do This One Thing," right? And I'll tell you what this one thing is, but just know the cops will hate you, like fucking hate the shit out of you if you do this one thing, and that is if you're well versed in the law. Okay? If you're well versed in the law, that means you know your rights, you know what you're doing, you get pulled over, you know to record them, you act in a well-mannered way, you only answer questions that you know you have to answer, and you don't answer anything else. And then eventually you ask that question, which I know a lot of guys already know about, is they ask, am I detained or am I free to go? I'm not against that question, okay? That is a really, really, really good question to ask. And if anything, that should be the first question you should ask. If a cop comes and talks to you, you should ask them immediately, am I detained or am I free to go? Okay? Before they even ask you for your ID, your name, anything. Am I detained or am I free to go? Okay? That's it. Just throw it out there. The first thing you should tell them so they know that they're not messing with a sucker, right? You don't want the cops to think you're a sucker. You don't know your rights. You don't know what you're doing. You're foolish, in other words, right? So, the cops will always hate you if you know what you're doing. And that's fine. Let them hate you, you know? As long as, like I've said this before, as long as you're polite, well-mannered, kind, say yes sir, no ma'am, right? Yes ma'am, you'll be alright. And I know some of you guys don't even want to say that, right? Because you're like, man, I got pulled over, I hate the cops, I don't want to get pulled over, why would I say this? But just say it, I know you don't want to say it, just say it to get it out of the way, right? Behave, be polite, be respectful. You don't want to give them a hard time, right? You don't want to give them a hard time because then they'll make it hard for you. They'll aggravate you, and then something will happen. Who knows what will happen? Maybe you get arrested. Maybe you might get in trouble if you aggravate the circumstances. So don't aggravate the circumstances. Do what I'm telling you and you'll be alright. Do what I'm saying and you won't get arrested. You'll be alright. You'll be good to go. And just know your law, know your rights, know what to say, know what to do. So the first thing you should do is if you get pulled over, always record the police, right? Always record them. Just pull out your audio recorder, pull out your camera recorder. If they ask you what you're doing, tell them you're recording them. If they ask you to turn off your camera, don't turn it off. Tell them you have the right to record and you're going to record because you don't trust their dash cam, their body cam, or whatever cam they're using, right? Because they might not record everything. Second thing, immediately ask them, am I free or am I free to go or am I being detained? Immediately, before they even say anything. Even if they do say anything, if they ask you, can I see your driver's license, whatever, ask them, am I being detained or am I free to go? If they do have probable cause, you'll be detained, but at least you showed them you know what you're doing, right? And that's good. You want to know what you're doing. You don't want to come across as a sucker because they'll take advantage of you, right? And the third thing is don't tell them anything that they don't need to know. Don't answer any questions that you feel like will put you in a rut, will get you arrested, will give them even more probable cause to go in your car, search your car, whatever, all right? If anything, if you feel like it's getting heated up, always ask for an attorney. You have the right to have an attorney. Invoke your right for an attorney. Now, whether they may give you an attorney or not depends on that police officer at that moment, because your attorney's not there to determine if you need an attorney at that moment or not, right? But let's say you do end up some negative stuff happens to you, right? Let's say you end up getting arrested or whatever. Don't worry, because your attorney will be able to determine if you were given an attorney, if you were given the Miranda warning at that time or not. Okay, so it's the attorney's job to determine whether you invoked when you invoked the right to have an attorney, which you should be doing. And if the cop didn't give you an attorney at that point, it's the attorney's job to tell the court, look, this individual invoked the right to have an attorney. The attorney wasn't given to him. All right, so just remember that, guys. Record the police. Ask them if you're free or detained. Always answer as quick and brief as you can. Be polite and invoke your right to an attorney and you'll be alright. Don't worry, guys. You're not going to get arrested. Nothing's going to happen to you if you invoke these rights. And in fact, the cop's going to hate you for that. And let them hate you because you're not doing anything wrong. It's not illegal to know the law. right? It's not illegal. You know the law. You know what you're doing, right? And let them hate you. Let them hate you. But that hate can turn into something else if you let that hate get out of control. If you let that hate get out of control. By what I mean by that is if you start acting belligerent and acting rude and start cursing and all that, that cop's going to give you a hard time, and then that could escalate into something worse. So don't do that, guys. Just do what I'm telling you and you'll be all right, okay? All right, that's all I wanted to say, guys. Peace.